blah, 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 blah. Welcome to Game and a Half Podcast, a podcast covering everything gaming. Today we're going to be taking a look at Reddit, specifically r/true gaming. We're going to be taking a look at your ideas, your thoughts, your hot takes, and your bold opinions. I'm Kai.
My name's Jared.
Let's get this started.
So today we have Reddit user bunny_wabbit. And he says, I don't know if I want to keep my Nintendo Switch. This may lead to reactionary downvotes, so I just wanted to point out that I'm no way bashing Nintendo or anybody who enjoys their products. I got this thing as a Christmas present, so I feel guilty having this contemplation, but there are a few things stopping me from enjoying this console. For starters, it's expensive. For the price of this console, I could have upgraded my PS4 to a PS4 Pro and sold my original PS4 for even more money. Or I could have bought the PlayStation VR. Hell, I'm sure there's budget gaming computers you could have built at that price. The quality just doesn't match its price, in my opinion. Each game is like $50, including Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I don't know if I'm willing to save up that much money just to buy Nintendo games, which, no offense, mostly feel like indie titles. I started having second thoughts once I realized I just simply didn't like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle as much as I thought I would. Initially, I wanted Mario Odyssey, but it ended up being sold out rather quickly during December. So, to start this off, that's okay. You don't have to like the Nintendo Switch. If you buy it...
I love when people go, no offense, this is garbage. No offense, this game sucks. No one's offended.
Yeah, you can have the right to not like this and want to buy something else instead.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. When it comes... I don't know if you can buy a budget gaming computer for $200. I mean,
Maybe used on Craigslist from like 10 years ago. I don't know how that works.
Maybe. I will admit that now with the PS4 and the Xbox One on the back end of this generation, new consoles are coming out, you can get used versions of those consoles for cheaper than a new Nintendo Switch, which both of those consoles run games at better qualities than Nintendo Switch. Just because the Nintendo Switch has the, I wouldn't say limitation, but it is portable, which requires some games
Right.
to obviously be down-resed and stuff like
Let's
that.
do a thought experiment.
Go
Okay,
for it.
you have the option between a Nintendo Switch and a PS4, and you're an avid gamer. You're not like an intense gamer who's playing 24/7, but you just want to play some games. You have a commute on a train because you live in one of the major cities. All right, you can either not play games on the train because you have a PS4 and it doesn't work, or you can you can buy a Switch and then you can play games on the go, which is really what it's for.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of the Switch is that it's on the go. So if you're not even really using it for that function, then maybe you're better off going for one of those other consoles. With the very specific game as Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, that one's hard because it's, for one, it's not the Breath of the Wild and it's not Mario Odyssey, which are the flagship Nintendo games on the Nintendo Switch. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is, for one, a spin-off Mario game with the Raving Rabbids game, and it's very turn-based type of game, so not a lot of people like that style of game as well.
Also, using indie as a derogatory term for a game that may be not as polished is ridiculous. There are phenomenal indie games. There are indie games that make huge developer games look like pieces of junk. So
Yeah, there is.
Don't be like, oh, Nintendo's titles seem like indie titles. Like, that's ridiculous. So they seem like independent titles, so they seem interesting and unique, and
Right.
like, I just don't I don't adhere to calling games that may be slightly unpolished be like, oh, it's like an indie title. That's
Plus,
just...
I mean, don't get me wrong, there is games that are, quote, indie titles that are normal retail price for a new game. But I would say the majority of indie titles are pretty affordable.
Yeah.
Like $20 to less than $20. Oh my God. It's a demon on your foot. $20 to less than $20. And I mean, the good thing is, like you were saying, I mean, a lot of these indie developers put a lot of care and work into their games, and that shows. And we see them being more and more popular than the AAA titles that are coming out.
Right. Yeah, and you just have to understand that, like, people are going to have a preference of what they need in life.
Right.
Just like anything else, like whether you buy an SUV or you buy a sedan or you buy a coupe, you know, you need to look at your life and be like, what do I need? Do I need super high graphic quality? Is that what is going to make me happy? Or do I need something that's portable, that's easy to use, that has games that are for every age group, rather than being like, I want to be able to play the newest Call of Duty in 4K with a ridiculous frame rate. Like, and that's fine if that's what you want. You just have to know that about yourself, and because obviously this person received this as a gift, like...
Yeah, that's true. Clearly, I mean, maybe he did ask for it. I don't know. Maybe he was just like, he just got a Nintendo Switch, and his mom went to the GameStop and was like, do you have a Nintendo? And then they just handed her a Nintendo Switch.
And it's like, anything you purchase or are given, you're going to have to determine if it's something you want or not. And, like, if it's not something you're enjoying, sell it. And you're right, you can sell it, and then you can buy used VR, or you can... I don't really understand the whole, like, upgrading, because you can't really upgrade your PS4 to a PS4 Pro with the money
that you would take. Well, I think he was saying he could sell his PS4 Pro and then his PS4 and then use that money that he was gonna buy for a Switch plus that to buy a Pro. I think that's what he was getting at. So it's like both of them together. But yeah, I get the point.
Yes. Yeah.
And then later on in this Reddit post, he goes on and talks about, I mean, less about like the Nintendo Switch and wanting it, but more about games that are trial and error. Oh, because he was talking about Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and it's set as a strategy game. It's very much like you have to do it a couple times to see if those routes or if that strategy is going to work for you. And he was saying that he didn't like the trial and error mechanics. He used Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, for example. He's like, sure, they're challenging, but they're just a challenge for the sake of being a challenge. Games like this are probably better with friends. Like, I can imagine daring a friend Bunny Wabbit, hold on. while to try and complete the high road just for a laugh. Okay, sorry. But, I mean, again, that's just...
preference.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games that have come out recently that are like the 2D platformer, like Ori and the Blind Forest, Celeste, Hollow Knight. Those are very much like learn by failure type of games. Like, you go through certain screens and you die, but dying gives you more information on what to do next time. And that's just the type of game that those are. Right. It's the same with Crash Bandicoot. I mean, you're going through, and it's a little more difficult than I think the older ones, but you're going through these levels and you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And so you're dying, and then you're, okay, now I know not to jump over this ledge because there is a plant that'll eat me if I jump over that ledge.
I think this is the problem with Bunny Wabbit, is that he has a system, but he doesn't have the right games for the system for him.
Right.
So he's like, oh, this system sucks. There's pretty much a game for everyone on the Switch, whether you want big open world stuff like Breath of the Wild, or I think The Witcher's coming to Switch eventually.
Yes.
Or you want platformer, or you want like interactive stuff, or you want stuff for your age group. Everything's there. You just have to be willing to spend the money to get it, or have been given it appropriately the first time. And so what it sounds like is some of the few games you have are Mario and the Wabbit Kingdom. So
well, and it's interesting too, because I mean, people like us that are very involved in the gaming culture pretty much daily, like a lot of people that maybe just play games and don't follow the community, just like seeing advertisements of a new game on TV and stuff like that, or like watching a review now and then. You will get people that'll buy a console and that'll buy games for that console and not really realize if that's the right game that they enjoy. That's just like, we'll try this out, and you'll feel it out and stuff like that.
If you go into a Switch expecting it to compete with the PS4,
it's not going.
You've already not given it the chance it deserves.
Well, it's also what you want. I mean, if you're going for a PS4 and Xbox because you want those really good graphics and stuff like that, and that's just not what the Switch is providing.
Your best chance for getting something that's portable-ish / very good at gaming is either a high-end gaming laptop or anything that runs Microsoft that can mirror the games from your Xbox.
I mean, the great thing now is, we don't really know how Stadia is going to work when it comes out, but that's going to be it. I mean, you can play your games. You don't need any high-end PC or anything really strong to run it, because all the games are being streamed. You just have to have a device that can run Chrome.
Right.
And then you can play your games on any platform, whether it's your phone, whether it's a tablet, whether it's an iPad or a MacBook.
And I've played
that. Odyssey.
Odyssey.
No, it was the Origins.
Origins. And I played Origins on Stadia as a early beta, and I played it on crappy school computers, and I played it on my Mac, and it ran fine. So it's like, that's kind of the future. Maybe you'll be able to run that stuff on your phone, anything with a internet connection, and especially with 5G coming down the pipeline, our ability to have access to huge amounts of, data all at once, it'll make it a lot more feasible. But in the time being, the Switch is the best portable system.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe this Nintendo Switch will get an internet browser.
Oh.
Maybe it'll get Chrome and run the Stadia.
There
That'll
you
be
go.
cool.
Who knows?
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, but the Switch is, especially now, the Switch is great because all of these older games that were amazing are being ported over the Switch. Like, we're seeing The Witcher 3, and we saw Skyrim, and we saw all these really big games. And now being able to play them portable, a lot of people are like, well, I already own this game, but now I can play it portably. And it's like, wow, I'm even more enticed to buy this.
My advice to you, Bunny Wabbit, is to buy Breath of the Wild
Yes.
and go sit in a park, not like creepily near children, but just go sit outside and play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I get it.
I'm trying to think of other games I'd recommend to you, because you don't like strategy, because you didn't like Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and you don't like the trial and error mechanics, so I wouldn't recommend Celeste or Hollow Knight
Like
or any
Doom,
of those other games.
like Doom's coming to Switch, right?
Yeah, well, the first Doom is on Switch.
There you go. So play
and
the
then
first
Doom
Doom.
Eternal is coming to Switch, which is very just like action,
Shooting up,
and stuff like that. So if you like shooters, this isn't for sure, but I was watching, there's been talk on the internet of the new Call of Duty coming to Switch, which would be interesting. I don't know how that is gonna
Graphically.
right.
It'll be-
I don't know. It'll be cool. It'll be cool
Also,
to have a shooter like that on
You
Switch.
you seem relatively into gaming, so like Fortnite's on
oh yeah.
you can play Fortnite, you can play Paladins, you can play. There's a bunch of free games too you can play right now where
Yeah.
you're like,
You can use those games to feel out what you like. Like if you like hero shooters, and you can try out Paladins. If you like the Battle Royale, you can try out Fortnite. Apex isn't on Switch yet, but
one day.
it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, that's hard though, because like Fortnite's so cartoony, you can run it on the Switch and it'll look pretty similar, but Apex looks really good.
Apex does look good.
And
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna
Fortnite-
take a loss in.
Fortnite is a little more stylized.
Yeah.
I mean, Apex does have a artistic style to it, but it
it's
does lean more on realism. than
graphically more
Fortnite does.
intense than Fortnite is.
Speaking of Fortnite, they have a partnership with the Borderlands team, but they have like a whole section.
like
of,
cell shade.
Yeah, like there's a whole section of the map where you go into it and it adds the cell shaded graphics, and you can have skins that are just the people from Borderlands.
That's
which is super
smart though.
cool. Oh yeah, because
'Cause,
Borderlands
like-
3 comes out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
We're both
which
very excited
we're very
for
excited
that.
But speaking of Nintendo Switch games, our next user, which is CDOP on Reddit, the r/True Gaming, says, which is the best Super Smash Bros. Game and why? So I'm going to I'm going to read his little thing here first. So he says, I think it's the Nintendo 64 original. I'm sure there's someone here who can provide a much more technical and specific viewpoint, but I like to share my impressions and having played Brawl, the original, and then Melee, all within a short period. The N64 version is a little bit cruder. Then it's and what does it say? Ancestors?
Yeah.
No, in that its physics are not as refined, but they are serviceable, and in a way, the game feels a lot freer because of it. There seems to be fewer frivolous deaths and many more close matches in this game as well. So, I mean, we're going to take this with a grain of salt because I just did look and this post was posted 7 years ago. So, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate clearly wasn't out yet. So, I will give my opinions in a post or a pre-Smash Bros. Ultimate world, and then I'll give my opinions on a post Super Smash Bros. Ultimate world. But Kai, I'd like to hear what you think is the best Super Smash Bros. Game and why.
Well, we have very differing opinions on
And
this.
who's your main in your favorite Super Smash Bros. Game, or the best one that you would choose?
I mean, Kirby always, forever and always.
Die hard Kirby fan.
Here's the problem. I have a view that the primary work of something is always the best, and then improvements are improvements, but you have to respect the original.
I mean, the improvements wouldn't be anything without the original.
Right. So I agree that the 64 Smash Bros. Is the best. It was the start of an idea that turned into a cultural phenomenon. It's what everything is built off of. And honestly, these games haven't changed that much. And I'm the person, I don't need a lot of characters. I don't even use items. So it does nothing for me. And yeah, the mechanics have gotten better and everything has like slight improvements. So if you look at it that way, obviously the new one's going to be the best, but just because it's the original, because it's what I grew up playing because it's what I have the memories of. I am very connected to that one, and I would say that I agree. It's the best one because it's what everything else. The reason they exist is because that one exists. So
Yeah. I would say for me, okay, so this is in a pre-Super Smash Bros. Ultimate world. I would say the best Super Smash Bros. Game was Melee. I mean, I did play a lot of the N64 version, and I loved Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. And like you were saying, it's true. Without the original, the sequels wouldn't be anything. But Melee was such an incredible sequel to that game.
Yeah.
Like it I mean, again, like you were saying, the improvements are great, but it wouldn't be anywhere without the original. But the improvements that they made mechanically, graphically, in the characters that were represented in that game was so incredible between those two games. I mean, the graphical power between the N64 and the GameCube was huge. I mean,
Right.
the things you could do on the GameCube was incredible. And I mean, I have nostalgic with all of these. I played Super Smash. I played all of them with friends, but I think I played a lot of Melee, a lot of nights dedicated to playing.
and that's kind of where competitive Smash
Well, yeah, that's where that
started
too.
because
yeah.
it was so well balanced that you could have competitions,
Right.
Whereas no one was competing. I mean, outside of maybe like friend circles on
Right,
the
right.
original 64, and I think like it's hard to justify which is better because they all improved.
Right.
They all did something a little bit better, and they all do the similar thing better, which is like game mechanics and the way that players interact and how quickly they react to the function. And that's just that comes out of just technology.
Right.
So
Or they
like,
just tried new things. Like a lot of people are hit or miss on Brawl because it kind of tried something new with its story and stuff like that. But still, I mean, the ability to try something new and not just stick with what's working is also, I would say, it's success as well, even if it wasn't readily praised by everyone at the time. So in a post Super Smash Bros. Ultimate world, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the best Super Smash Bros. Game. I would say there's a teeny bit of bias in there.
oh well, it's
Just a little bit.
teeny bit of bias.
There's so Kai knows my fetishes with games and characters. The more characters, the better. I love having just a plethora of options. Like Marvel vs. Capcom, like those games with like 80 characters, and Smash Bros with like 80 plus characters now. Warms my little heart.
Right.
I love it. I love it so much. And it's not even just the amount of characters. It's what they're doing with the franchise now and the characters that they're able to include in the game. I mean, they're doing things like really listening to fans and what they've wanted for years, and then including characters that we've never seen on Nintendo. Well, now, but before on Nintendo consoles, like Cloud from Final Fantasy. That's been solely a Sony exclusive, Sony rights character, and we hadn't seen that on a Nintendo franchise before, a Nintendo console before. So, definitely Super Smash Bros.
Take a moment of silence for Waluigi.
I don't know. I don't know. They're like, because on one side, they're like, yes, we're gonna give you everything that you've ever asked for, and then Waluigi's here, and it's like, well, not Waluigi though. We're not.
We're not gonna give you that.
We're not gonna give you that. I think because people don't want Waluigi. They want Waluigi because he's not in Smash. I don't think he'd be a viable character.
That's not true.
I don't know.
Piranha Plant? Piranha Plant was a viable character. You're telling me people wanted that?
No.
No, they didn't want that. They were like, oh, this would be funny.
That's true. They could have just added Waluigi and had that
I
be funny too.
have an opposing view of the ridiculous amount of characters, and I don't.
Because for a lot of people, that's anxiety-inducing when
yeah.
there's 80 characters to
It's
choose
not even
from.
anxiety. It's just pointless. Like there's so many characters that are sword fighting characters that have such similar movesets.
I will agree that there's two Fire Emblem. Like, you chill. If there's another Fire Emblem character in this game, I might not be able to take it. There's like 18 Fire Emblem characters.
Right.
There's too many.
Fire Emblem, a game that most people do not even know or have played ever, and there's like a billion characters in the game. And it's like, I understand that having the marketing materials to be able to say like 80 plus characters, and you're putting out all these DLC characters, and it's exciting, and people like it, and people like trying out new characters. I just don't care at a certain point. Like, who cares if there's another character? I'm going to play as Little Mac. That's my main. That's the hilarious thing about Smash Bros. If people were like, wow, I love exploring all these characters, most people will play as one character.
Right.
And from the people I play with, they're usually characters that have been there since the beginning. People play with Captain Falcon.
Right.
People play with Kirby.
Yep.
People play with like Fox.
That's
No
true.
one's like, you know who my main is? Piranha Plant. That's what I wanted.
Incineroar.
Friggin' Joker. Joker's my main now.
We'll sticking on the Smash Bros. Kind of topic. What do you think about Super Smash Bros. Moving forward? Is this finally the last Super Smash Bros. Game, or
God, I hope so.
is there going to be more? Because after every iteration, Melee, Sakurai's like, I'm done.
Yeah,
No more.
I hope he takes a vacation.
Well, yeah, I hope he
looks-
takes the vacation
he
in the
looks
sense of he doesn't die because
exhausted.
he's been working on
They
games
keep
for so long.
him in a floor in Nintendo headquarters.
There was a story that said that he walked around the office with an IV, like saline drip, because he was so dehydrated and exhausted from working on the game that he just had an IV walking around with him.
Go to the Bahamas. Go literally anywhere. I don't care where you go. Just take a break.
Yeah, I will admit that you've given us far beyond what we've asked for, and people will still be disappointed, you know? Like, even though like another character comes out and it's not one they've wanted, it's like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, who cares?
And Sakurai cries a small little tear with blood in it
Like,
down his face.
you don't need another one. Like, there's not enough difference between them other than the amount of characters. So like, as far as this game goes, as a platform, you could have this game for the next 10 years and just keep adding characters to it, and like that'll be fine. Or don't. Just I don't need any more. No one needs any more characters.
Well, I mean, I feel like at the end of the Wii U one, people were like, I mean, at one point they're content. They're like, cool, this is Smash Bros. Like, you're done. And then they released another one, and it's like, okay, everyone's here. But now people are like very content, and it's like, okay, we're done. I don't know. I feel like Super Smash Brothers is a
what
franchise.
do you do after Ultimate?
Yeah,
Just better. Super Smash Brothers better.
Super Smash Brothers better than the last. I don't know. Because this was the iteration of like, here's all these characters that didn't make it into the last games that were in previous ones. They're all together now, and there's more, and there's King K. Rool and all these Banjo Kazooie. Oh,
Yeah, he has a hard on for Banjo Kazooie.
I love Banjo Kazooie. I'm playing Banjo Kazooie right now, and at first I was like, man, this game hasn't aged very well. So I was like, man, because the whole like collectathon, like 3D open world hasn't really held up
Well,
recently.
because it's really not open world in the comparison
Well, yeah, I
of
mean,
open
like,
world games
yeah,
now.
At the time, it really was, but games like Hat in Time and like Yooka-Laylee have done that recently, but we haven't seen a lot of that genre. And I was like, oh, this game's aged kind of not poorly. But I started playing it, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
love
you
it.
like Banjo Kazooie.
I do.
I didn't like it when I played it as a child. I definitely don't like it now. Weird little witch characters and shit.
Yeah, Gruntilda.
It's awful.
And when they talk, it's like.
You want a hot take? I actually, out of all the Banjo Kazooie games, I like Nuts and Bolts.
Oh,
the
it
best.
makes so many people angry.
I
All the people
love
that aren't
that
listening.
game.
Because it wasn't Banjo.
It was great.
It was Lego building stupid ass car driving.
When I was 9, that was awesome. That was what I wanted to do.
It came out like my freshman year of high school. You would have been like 8th grade. Just like 12.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, because I was.
Google it.
It was on Xbox 360.
Nah.
It was on Xbox
I
360.
100% played that in like the 5th grade.
Banjo, Kazooie. I spelled Kazooie wrong. Nuts and Bolts release date. It was like 2010.
This might have been a mistake.
It was 2008.
Ha!
That's not 9 years
I was
old.
in the 5th grade in 2008.
No, I was in the 8th grade in 2008.
All right, so I was in the 6th grade in 2008. That's close.
That is not 9 years old.
Okay, it was like 10.
Okay.
Ah,
Whatever.
dumb hoe.
I didn't like it. It was dumb.
I was 12.
And granted, I probably played. I definitely did not play this when it came out. I definitely played it way later on because I was definitely in high school.
My friend Kiko Villagomez, he got it for Xbox 360. We played hours of Nuts and Bolts, and it was fun. So
Shout out to Kiko.
shout out to Kiko.
Okay, that's enough about Super Smash Brothers. What's our last topic on here or whatever?
Whatever, I quit. Whatever.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Too bad we don't have Chris here, which is our PC
Master Race.
or Jason, which they're very much PC gamers. But this is the PC Master Race, and why is it such a big deal? What systems people use? So I'm gonna read some little excerpts on this. Oh, this is username u/deleted because his account doesn't exist anymore. So shout out to him. So I've been a PC gamer since the original StarCraft was released. I never really owned gaming consoles because we couldn't afford them for most of my life at home. Aren't PCs kind of expensive? I don't know.
Just let's all just cry a tear for you/deleted that he could have PC consoles, but
Not
nope,
gaming consoles.
no gaming consoles.
Other than the Game Boy and the PlayStation 1, which was a console, which I received as gifts from extended family. I've been pretty diehard PC gamer. I would use what money I did get to purchase upgrades for the PC that I already had and would pray for that one day I can afford to buy an entire brand new PC. I actually got started building my own PC when I was in the 6th grade. To me, PC gaming has been by far the most practical and preferred method of gaming for most of my life when compared to consoles. However, in recent years, my tastes have been shifting. I still had and have my PC as my primary entertainment and gaming center, yet real-life development such as going to college and being more busy and socially involved has had an impact on my enthusiasm for gaming as a whole. This is because I don't think it is practical for me to sit at my computer and game in the same way that I always have. I'll disagree. It's always a good idea to sit at your PC and game for your whole day. I would be much more inclined to go into the other room and join my friends in a game of Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart than sit in my room alone and play PC game.
A couple of thoughts. He seems older
Yes.
than the average gamer, because obviously if he was having the PS1 and what was N64 Game Boy, then he's of our generation or a little bit older than us.
Right.
So, like, at that point in time, PC gaming made a lot more sense because the technology that was available in console gaming was
Far
so
behind.
much less than what was
yeah.
available in a computer. And so if you were, like, a hardcore gamer, there'd be no reason. Those were... And at that point, the age range of people buying consoles were so much younger than now.
Yeah.
The audience of a Switch is anyone from, like, 8 to like 35. The audience of a Game Boy then was anyone from the ages of like 8 to 12.
Right.
So
and in PC, there was definitely more adults playing
right.
PC than playing console games.
And there was
as
more
well.
titles released on PC.
Right. And I
And-
mean, PC
yeah.
also had the ability of mods as well. Like,
Right.
that didn't come to console until way later. So if you were a kid that had a PC game, you can have a game, and then you can do things on that game, like, say, that was similar to on another console.
Right.
You can do things on your game that console gamers couldn't do on their version of the game.
Yeah.
Which was really cool for a lot of kids that had a PC growing up.
And also, weirdly, PC gaming is the only reason we have multiplayer gaming. So what you're talking about,
Yeah.
like not local multiplayer, but like over internet multiplayer.
That's where it started.
That's the genesis of being able to play. So like, I know lots of people who have met friends playing massive role-playing games online, like old MMORPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a girl in the program I'm in right now who met her boyfriend playing World of Warcraft.
Nice.
So they've been together for like 6 years. They met playing WoW. So like that it doesn't make sense now that you want to be able to just play a game of Mario Kart sounds more like a time
Right.
requirement,
Rather
less
than
of
a
like
preference.
a social requirement. You can be social playing games on computer, and obviously I use very like typical PC games, but you can play anything on a PC these days, especially with
Right. And like you said,
Microsoft.
it just comes down to preference. Some people are perfectly content with having and maybe are more comfortable having and talking to their online community, whether it's through platforms like Twitch or Mixer, and you have the community
Yeah.
to talk to. And they feel much more comfortable doing that than sitting in a room and playing Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart where they have to actually interact with people in the real world. So it's like, it does just come down to preference. Go ahead.
and the question that they're asking is
Why is it such a big deal?
Why is it such a big deal? Because it's the short answer is it's not.
No.
It's really not. It doesn't matter what you play games on. We're all gamers.
Well,
and we're
especially nowadays. I mean, away from like PC Master Race was its own thing, and then the console wars is definitely dying out nowadays more than it ever
Yeah.
has before. People don't really care, especially with things like crossplay and cross saves and stuff like that.
I think people still care. And the reason people care is because people always care about their community, and that's
think
really
so.
what it comes down to. Is
I would say people do care, but it's not as important as it was.
As it was, yeah. So
Yes.
PC Master Race, people liked it because they felt superior, because they could
Right.
mod, and they knew that they were saving some amount of money by having an upgraded PC, and they could just swap out parts instead of buying a new PC.
New console,
and
or
they
a new console every time.
people came
generation.
together because of that, and they, popular culture determined that the console was king in the mid 2000s, and all these PC people were like, whoa, we've been gaming way longer.
Right.
We have all this stuff. And, you know, communities will come together, and of course they're going to defend what they love. And that's where that comes from.
Also, gaming on PC was more adult. I would say there definitely was more mature titles on PC than there was on console. I mean, we had things like back in the day, like I remember playing really mature games like Serious Sam or like Halo. Like those are really mature games. But then there's things like Doom was on other consoles as well, but Doom and like Wolfenstein were really big ones that stood out.
Yeah. No, and it's not a big deal, but it feels good to be part of a culture and a community that's supportive. So like, if you are talking to a bunch of PC guys and you're on PC, you're like, yeah, I feel awesome. But if you have a N64 and you're talking to PC guys, they're like, I hate you and you suck. And you're like, oh man, I don't feel good about this. And then you find the console coalition and all of a sudden you're supported, but now there's a divide and now everyone's angry. And also, this whole issue arose on the internet.
Right.
No, I mean, I can't say this for sure, but knowing
this is 100% fact that he's gonna say
knowing
right
gamers, now. I'm sure there's been no physical violence over like console and PC.
And you never know. You walk into the wrong side of the alley. And like,
No.
It's the PC side.
Yeah, it's just freaking code tattooed onto their necks.
Yeah.
It's like, what you playing, boy?
A string of HTML on their
Yeah,
neck.
just HTML. But I mean, for the most part, I'm sure that no physical violence. It's all just people pontificating
talk.
on the internet, just angry, and they want to be right, and it's, you know, it's that. So like, yeah, you can play whatever it's really about what makes you happy.
Right. And I think for me, in my personal opinion and view on this of why it's such a big deal, it definitely is less of a big deal now. Again, like I stated before, with cross saves and cross play, like what people own, it's like you can play games with your PS4 friends, and now you can play things like, like I think cross play is gonna get overshadowed by cross saves. Like right now, Paladins has cross saves, and it's different because that's a free to play game where other games you'll have to buy it on 2 consoles. But I can be on my Xbox and play Paladins and level up and unlock characters and get currency and stuff like that. And then I leave and I can pick up my Switch and start playing Paladins and be at the exact same level and have that progress still transfer between those 2 consoles, which is super cool. Just to have all these things, if you have all these consoles, have them be connected in a different way they were before. And that just connects the Switch and its portability to other games.
Yeah.
Like there's big talk about like Game Pass possibly coming to the Switch, and that's like, well, now you have your Xbox games that are also going to be portable as well, which is just is a super cool idea.
Right. Well, you know, what really, because of how moved forward the age range has become in gaming, the lines between what consoles you own are shifted. Because when you're a kid, your parents buy you a console, and it's hard to justify unless you're wealthy. Be like, oh no, I want the other console too. I want an Xbox and a PS4. Because usually you just get one. It's like, what do you want? And that's determined by what friends you're playing with. But now that the age range has moved forward so much, like if you're 25 years old and you have a job, you can have all the consoles and it doesn't really matter. So you can have your gaming PC, a PS4, an Xbox, a Switch, a Wii U. like us.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, and then the next section, we're going to be talking about games that we're excited for and some things that we're playing right now. So
yeah. All right, we'll be back. Bye-bye.
Welcome back
And
to Game and a Half. And in this section, we're going to talk about games we're excited about and games we've been playing. This episode is sponsored by nobody.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I guess games that we're excited about. Borderlands. I'm so pumped about Borderlands.
No, this is a person who literally a year ago.
Well, I was gonna tell my Borderlands story too. Okay, so I never played the first Borderlands. I started playing Borderlands 2. I had tried it out by myself once and didn't really enjoy it. And then I started playing it with one of our friends, Chris, and we played like maybe an hour or 2 into it. And I hated it. I was like, the graphics are dumb, the game's dumb, this game is stupid. And then me and Kai started playing Borderlands 2. We played through the entirety of Borderlands 2, and I was like, I absolutely love this game.
This is a brilliant game.
This is the best game in the world.
Okay. Maybe not that, but
It's definitely a game that you should play with somebody else. It's definitely more enjoyable.
I would like to add that I had played Borderlands by myself, and it was just as fun with or without someone. But I mean, it's more fun probably to play it with someone.
It's preference. I didn't like it by myself, but we beat Borderlands 2, and I would say with Borderlands, I'm definitely more involved in the mechanics of Borderlands.
Yeah.
Like, if you asked me what Borderlands 2 story was about, I probably couldn't tell you. Handsome Jack, he's a bad guy. Spoilers, if you haven't played a game that's very old, you fight a dragon at the very end. That's
all I remember.
That's all I remember. And then having fun and laughing and blowing
It
things
takes
up.
place on the moon of Pandora, and Handsome Jack runs the mining corporation, and you're placed there as a vault hunter whose job is to track down. I'm not reading anything. I can remember the story because I actually liked the game.
It was fun to play. It was fun to shoot
Claptrap is a robot.
They changed the voice actor for Claptrap in 3.
Motherfucker.
So it's not the same guy as the
That's so
previous.
sad.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I mean, people have said he does a good job, but it's just weird to hear Claptrap's voice and not be Claptrap. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And then we started, we didn't complete it, but we started playing the pre-sequel, which I was really enjoying that one as well, the different gun types and stuff like that. But, oh man, Borderlands 3. I'm excited to see Borderlands just on a new console. I mean, it's the thing with its graphics is it's very not timely because those graphics hold up forever. The cell shading is very it's a very distinct specific art style that even later in life, if it's on a better running console, it still looks great.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing the pre-sequel right now on Xbox One.
Right.
And it looks fine.
Yeah, but I'm very excited. I mean, in Borderlands 3, you have the ability to travel to multiple worlds, which is really cool. The 4 characters that they've announced, Amara, hold on, let's see if I can do this. Amara, Flack. I don't remember the other 2. There's a guy who can turn invisible, and there's a girl with a tank, but I don't remember their names. Borderlands 3 characters.
You can't actually type without saying the words out loud.
I have noticed that. Who's playable? The 4 Vault Hunters in Borderlands 3 are Mose, the gunner, so her like ult is she can have like a giant tank. Amara is
more like a mech suit.
Yeah, it's more like a mech suit. I didn't mean to say tank, but she's like a tanky character.
Yeah.
Amara is the siren for this
AKA
game.
the lead character.
I don't know about that. I have always played as the sirens. I think I played as the siren in the last game, which I don't remember her name.
You did.
Oh, it was I don't remember her name.
The game is based around the sirens because there's only so many of them left.
Correct. Zane, he's the operative. He's the one that can turn invisible. He's the sniper. And then Flack, he's the Beastmaster. So he's really cool. That's the one I'm going to play as is Flack. He has the ability to control 4 beasts that are found in the Borderlands universe, and you can use different powers with them and stuff like that. He's super cool. That's who I'm going for. Are you playing as the Siren this time? Going for Amara?
Probably play as Zane.
Big blue arm girl. Yeah, Zane, he can turn invisible and he can duplicate himself too.
For some reason, in no other game do I like being a sniper, but in Borderlands, I like being a sniper.
But the best thing is you don't have to be a sniper. I mean,
yeah, but obviously the invisibility stuff and the long range.
See, that's Zane.
Yep, looks like an
He has a decoy
angry
device,
white guy. Yeah,
which draws in enemies. So that's really cool. So when you throw down your decoy, it takes all the aggro from the enemies, and they take a lot of they focus on that, in which you can flank them and stuff. But yeah, there's a more expansive skill tree in this game,
which is kind of crazy because the previous games had really expansive skill trees.
Right, exactly.
If you're a gamer who loves a skill tree, though,
right up your alley.
This is right up your alley.
Another thing with this game that they've added is, in previous games, it was more like when you open a loot box or any kind of loot, it'd be shared between the two. So we'd have to be like, what Kai and I did was we take turns. So if one person opened a loot crate this time, they got to pick any gun they wanted first, and then we would just shift between those. What's cool about this game is in the split screen, you both have randomly generated guns. So I can open the loot box, and then Kai can open the exact same one, and we'll both have
different things,
completely different guns, which is really cool.
And be able to take whatever we want, which is nice.
Which is we don't have to like share. We can like, these are mine.
Which pretty much sounds like they're just running 2 different games kind of at the same time.
Which is kind of impressive if you think about
yeah.
it. There's just 2 Borderlands. I mean, it's also cool to see a game in 2019 that has split screen, that has local multiplayer split screen,
great.
which is so...
Thank you.
I never thought I'd be so excited for it. I mean, I'm very much, and I love local multiplayer.
Also, let's just say 1 billion guns.
Billion guns.
Procedurally generated.
There's a gun that has legs that walks around and shoots things.
1 billion. That's an impressive amount of weaponry. I'm so excited.
We're excited for Borderlands 3. Is there anything else you're excited for that's coming out this year, early next year?
Pokemon. Sword and Shield is coming out.
I made a decision. I'm getting Shield.
It'll change. 5
No, it won't.
It will.
I'm okay. So I'm very much. I love Nintendo. I'm the Nintendo ho of the podcast.
He is. That is a fact.
Especially Pokemon. Yeah, Nintendo releases something. I'm like, I'll take it.
Whatever.
Piece of poop with the Nintendo symbol on it. I'll buy it.
I'll buy it.
But I'm very excited for Sword and Shield, and I was debating between Sword and Shield, and a lot of the times before with these Pokemon games is, as Kai pointed out to me before, same games with different color palettes. But these games are very different. Like, there's different gym leaders in each game. There's different, I mean, most games there's like 1 or 2 Pokemon that are different. There's completely different Pokemon or more than just 2, which is really exciting. So you'll see more gym leaders. We kind of saw things like this with like Ruby and Sapphire, where there's different storylines, different places you would go depending on those games, which kind of makes more incentive for people to buy both of them. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm going for Sword not because I'm a hipster and everyone's going to go for... I'm going for Shield because most people are going to go for Sword. Not because I'm a hipster, because I'm smart.
No.
Because if everyone goes for Sword and they have a Pokemon that I need, I'll have more options to trade with people because the majority will have Sword. So you got to think about these things. You got to think about them.
You'll be the uglier of the 2 legendaries.
Zamazenta, he has a cool, like, shield mane. The other one's just a doggo with a sword in his mouth. That's not cool. Can you take it out? Is it welded into his mouth? It was part of his biology? Exactly. He's just not practical. If I have a big shield lion I can ride, he has a shield mane, that's super cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Pokemon Shield. Both of them as a unit.
Those indie games that Nintendo's releasing.
Oh, yeah. Those indie fourth-party titles. Oh. I'm very excited because they added in Pokemon Sun and Moon, they added Alolan forms. So there was Kanto Pokemon that had different forms and different typings in Sun and Moon. And they're doing the same thing with Galar, which is the region that Sword and Shield takes place in. So there's Pokemon in this that have different typings, like Weezing. He has a cool top hat. It's a fairy type. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Wouldn't Pokemon Company theoretically be an independent developer?
Yeah, well, everyone thinks, like, Nintendo makes Pokemon. That's not true.
Pokemon
Company makes Pokemon on Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
So Nintendo doesn't make Pokemon
So theoretically,
games.
Pokemon is an indie game. Just a really well done indie game.
Right, I mean, it's like second party. It's like all of it's always been on Nintendo franchise, but Nintendo doesn't make Pokemon games. No. Pokemon Company develops Pokemon games.
Pokemon doesn't make any other titles other than the Pokemon games.
Right.
So.
Well, Game Freak. Well, they're actually doing another game that they showed off in E3 of last year, the year before. Not this E3, but I think the previous one. It's called Town, and the only thing they really showed off was like some. It's very turn-based, like Pokemon is, and it takes place in a town. That's really all we've gotten from it so far.
I mean, there's been,
that's a game that's not Pokemon.
They've done some weird ass games though in their past.
Well, there's a lot of spin-off stuff.
The Nintendo DS, where you play as the Pokemon. It's like the Vault. It's the dungeon crawl games.
Oh, Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, Mystery Dungeon.
I loved Mystery Dungeon games. They need a new one of those.
Also, the photography games, whatever. Snap.
There's like a whole Reddit page on people like signing a petition to make Pokemon Snap 2 happen.
Why? Why would you want that?
Because then you can use your Switch and use the gyro and actually take pictures.
It's literally just a game about people taking photos of Pokemon.
Hey man, there's a lot of nostalgia. We'll have to play Pokemon Snap again, and it'll be like, man, why is there not a sequel in the Nintendo?
Why is there no sequel to this game? It's perfect.
So yes, I'm excited about Sword and Shield. My philosophy and what I've decided that I've done the last couple years is I buy 2 games a year. What's so funny?
He also has Game Pass, so it's not.
I purchase.
He purchases 2 new titles a year, but we play Probably around 50 to 60 new games a year.
That's
based on
but
Game
old
Pass.
or new, it doesn't matter. But I buy two $60 games a year.
We always have the issue of trying to delete titles to download titles. So,
Yes. Another game I'm excited about. I'm probably not gonna get it the day it comes out, but I really want to get it later. Is Death Stranding, the weird, confusing
so
one with Norman Reedus.
that's like one of those
and Guillermo
games
del Toro
you want to
and-
wait until reviews come out.
Oh yeah, I mean, they just released another trailer, and the big kind of meme for Death Stranding now, even though it's not even out yet, is every trailer just makes the game more and more confusing. You still have no idea what's going on. You
yeah.
can pee.
Oh, that's just a mechanic?
Yeah, you can. It had a gameplay trailer. Norman Reedus was like sitting in a forest, and he stood up, and then like you have like a meter, so you have to control your urine in this game too. And he's like, "Oh, I have to pee," so he stands up and pees, and you can control your pee stream with like the right analog stick. And they said you can use your pee as a weapon in this game. But when you turn the camera to look at the front of him, he like shifts away, so you can't actually look at his penis. People definitely would have tried. But yeah, that's Stranding, people.
Why?
There was another trailer they showed off where one of the main girls had a baby on the other side of this world, the other dimension. I forgot what these demon things are called, but it has her. I think the article was like interdimensional breastfeeding, because like the lady has like the other dimension baby. You can't see it, but she's just like holding a like black thing, and then she's just like nursing the baby from another dimension. It's like, what the hell is this game?
I think that's what they're going.
Yeah, they're just going weird as shit.
They're
So-
just like, we don't really have a story. We're just going to put everything in here and hope that no one notices.
It's considered an open world action adventure game. So I mean, haven't seen much action yet besides Norman Reedus peeing and you being able to use it as a weapon. That's pretty much all I've seen.
Yeah, it looks real confusing.
I'm excited for that.
What else?
Later, this is way later, but I'm always gonna talk about this. So again, Nintendo ho right here, sucking Nintendo's big old schlong whenever they need me to. The sequel to Breath of the Wild. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. I don't know if it's...
No. Don't even undermine my excitement right now. I am so. I've seen so many like YouTubers and they've reacted to games and they're like, they scream and stuff like that. I'm like, I've never actually done that. I was like, people just do that for like YouTube videos and just for like publicity, and so it's entertaining. But when I saw Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, I screamed. I couldn't control it. And I was like, wow, this is actually real.
This is real.
This is
I'm
legit.
so excited. I am excited for Breath of the Wild, I guess.
I'm excited, but equal parts worried because it's
so soon.
well, not so soon. It's 5 years after the game came out, because it's like, yeah, it came out in 2017, so it's already 2 years old now.
We're so old.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild came out in 2017, so I mean,
Felt like yesterday.
but it's like, how is this going to take place in the same world? And Breath of the Wild's mechanics were unique because it's like, here's this open world, do what you want whenever you want to do it. And it's like, are they just going to put you in that same world and you're doing the same things? It's like, are like different things going to happen? Like, I have a lot of questions on how, is this going to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild? And if so, like, what does the world look like? Is there more like the structures that were destroyed in the first game? Are they going to be up and running? Is there more like life in this game? I don't know. But other than that, I'm very excited. I love Zelda.
Yeah, how is it graphically going to change? Because the system
Right.
already struggles.
Well, I mean, between right. Well, I mean, if you think about it, Breath of the Wild was a Wii U title. So
Yeah.
it came out on Wii U.
Right.
So it had to be the same running capabilities as the Wii U. So they were kind of limited in that sense. So Breath of
I
the
don't know
Wild,
how different the Wii U and the Switch are.
I think they're very different.
How?
In
One
terms
was a
of-
literal standalone console.
I think the Switch has way more. The Switch could not run. I mean, the Wii U could not run Witcher 3.
The Wii U
Could not run.
at least was 180p,
The 10.
1080p.
The Wii U could not run Doom. The Wii U could not run. I don't think it could run any of those games.
1080p. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you scale down resolution so you can have better frame rate and better like games that can run on it. So like, you have Witcher.
4p. Man,
the pixel.
I'm running the 72 frames GTA 5 at 4p.
Oh man, if they put GTA on the Switch,
Yeah.
make all the money. Okay, what are we playing now? What are you playing now?
I'm not. Well, we are gonna play the Blair Witch game.
Yeah.
We downloaded that yesterday.
I'm excited for
Talking
it.
about 2 games a year. That lies.
Buy 2 games a year. I download hundreds of games a day. Yeah, the Blair Witch game. I'm not a horror game connoisseur.
Yes,
myself.
we are.
No. I was gonna say socially.
Oh.
I definitely don't play horror games by myself, but I very much enjoy it. Like we played out through Outlast together.
Alien.
That was really fun. We played through Alien Isolation together. That was
Yeah.
really fun. I'm very much like a social horror game
What is
player.
it?
because-
Going Home or whatever it's called? What's the painting one?
Oh, Layers of Fear. They made a sequel to that.
That was so good.
It might be on Game Pass actually. Yeah, we played through Layers of Fear, which that one was really fun. Yeah, so the Blair Witch.
We play a lot of horror games actually.
Yeah, we actually do.
Starting with I think Slender was like the first like real
Oh, yeah. I remember playing Slender.
horror game we played together, and then just sparked.
Sparked an interest. We had each other if we were scared.
It's spoopy.
It was
It's
spoopy games.
We often turn out, and this is gonna sound really romantic, but we turn out all the lights and close the blinds.
Light some candles.
Light
Put
some
some flower petals on the bed. It's our special ritual.
God. Yeah, so I'm excited to play that. I've seen the.
We're related, by the way, just in case anybody was confused about our relationship.
Yeah, relationship. We're related.
We're related.
Sure, we're related, Jared. He's not ready to come out yet. We are in a closet right now.
That's
so
true. Literally.
Literally, it's the only place in our house where there's no echo. So
Yes, Blair Witch. I'm very excited. I've heard of this game. It's very, very spoopy.
spoopy.
So I'm excited for that. I'm playing Banjo-Kazooie because I love Banjo-Kazooie. And now that I have Game Pass again, I can play Tooie and the other one. The third one that I should.
We've also been playing Apex a lot.
Oh, so much Apex.
So
I
much
love
Apex. It's so good. It's just better Fortnite. We suck.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that.
We're awful.
I think one of the daily challenges yesterday was to get 3 kills. We couldn't even do that.
No, we really couldn't.
But we enjoyed
With
and
Watson, it was 3 kills with
3
Watson.
kills with Watson. That's what it was. But we enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, we enjoy failing. I do enjoy seeing people in that game who are like, it'll be like 2,000 kills and like 48 million wins, and you're just like, how are you so good at this?
I think there's more people. We think like oh, everybody sucks. I think there's more people that are actually okay and good at this game, and we're just in the small majority that are just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, we're
at
just
this.
garbage. I feel bad for people we get matched up with, especially when it's like they're really good.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, we're just gonna drag you down. And the weird thing about Apex is like we're okay at other games. We're okay at Call of Duty.
Right.
We're fine at Fortnite. We just suck at Apex.
Yeah, I think it's just like the mechanics of this battle royale game and how it's like, oh, walk around and find your gun.
Also, I liked solo, and they got rid of that. Now I'm sad.
Well, that's what they do. They're like, okay, we'll give you solo. We'll get rid of it. We'll see how many people actually wanted it and played it, and then we'll have an actual game mode.
I want it. I want it back. I want solo.
Even though we've recorded podcasts in the past, and when the idea of solos came out, Kai was very much against it. He said it's dumb. He said that it's pointless with the mechanics. You can still ping things in solo, which I think is hilarious.
Well, yeah, that's pretty stupid. I admit I was I was against it. Here's the thing. I'm a daily challenge whore. So and
which was
unfortunately
just added recently.
yeah, unfortunately you can't always get the character you want when you play in a group of 3 because you're like, oh, it'll be like get 5 kills as Gibraltar, which I won't do anyway, so I don't even know why it matters. But it'll be like someone will choose Gibraltar, and then you have to be like, I don't know, friggin' Watson or someone else, and you're just sad or Wraith, and you're like, ugh, god damn it. So in solo, you get to just be the character you want to be.
That's true.
And then it'll be like, sit for 15 minutes in, some area on the map, and I'll be like, I can do that. I can sit and not die.
Yeah.
But
Besides Apex, we're excited to play Blair Witch. Probably gonna play it today sometime. Make it real spoopy.
what's that game we almost played through in a day that was like Xbox 360 title that was the 2-player split screen cop game?
Oh, Kane Lynch.
Yes,
too?
we played, which is probably one of the most offensive games I've ever played.
Yeah, that between just being offensive and the cameraman probably being on some version of opioids while he's chasing these two, it's a nauseating game. I hadn't played it before. I'm very much one that likes to play games even if I've heard they're absolutely terrible because I want to experience these games. You know?
I want to know the terrible.
I want to know the terrible. And sometimes I've played games that aren't that terrible. It's like, okay, I mean,
What was that? Oh, what was the game where it was like took place in the Aztec temple?
Oh yes, the like something adventure or something like that. It was very much like Indiana Jones inspired.
Hot
That
garbage.
first person shooter, and it was bad. But we played through it, and now we can say for a fact that it was bad.
It was awful.
Well, my biggest thing for a while was I'm trying to beat as much game as possible. I'm not like one of those completionists.
No.
I'm a finishist.
Finishes.
I want to finish as many games as possible.
I'm a startist. I like starting as
start as
many
much games
games
as
possible, and then I never finish them.
But yeah, we finished
We play a lot of games.
a lot of games. Gone Home.
Super hot.
I love. They're putting Super Hot on the
Super
Switch.
Hot. I mean, that's obvious. It's not hard to run.
No, but that's cool. Like Super Hot on the Switch. That's
I don't know
awesome.
if that's a game that I would be like excited to play.
Well, I think I really because it started off as a VR title. I want to play it in VR because that'd be super
That'd
cool
be
and
cool.
extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I played it on Xbox clearly, but and it's really well. I think it's really cool too. The story to it, not that Kai paid attention to the stories in these.
No, I didn't.
Cutscenes.
I skipped every cutscene.
Freaking
It's a good game though.
okay, that's all the time we have for today, guys.
That's it.
Till next time. I was gonna say next week, but who knows with our schedule if that's what's gonna happen. Next time.
Next time
Game and a
on
Half.
Game and a Half. Stay classy.
Peace out.